We identify what is controlling you by the affectations, by the impact it has on your life. And as you mentioned, when you introspect, when you reflect carefully, you're able to identify the source.
Understand that there is something controlling them. Pause. Take a step back and be idle and look into this. But unfortunately, what I'm seeing today, and especially in most of the companies, the youth and the people around, their definition of stepping back and taking a pause is looking into their social media or looking into the reels or watching some other stimuli. And I think it is going to become a very big problem if people continue to have this kind of a behavior. There needs to be a way that they can understand in simple terms how to practice this.
Your level of gratitude, compassion, forgiveness, hard work, perseverance, of being an example, raising yourself, your quality of products, everything goes up when in good times. And even in difficult times, you are not pulled down. You continue with it. Life is testing me in certain ways. Let me see who wins. Not in an egoistic way.
Contentment with the past, acceptance with the present, and aspiration for the future.
Friends, who controls you? Each one of us seem to be controlled by an external entity. A source apart from us seems to control us. And the real quality of life enhances when you are in control of your own thoughts, emotions, and choices. And in simple terms, we say, are you the CEO of your life or are you a slave to your life? So, to discuss this, we have a friend and a well-wisher, Mr. Vamsi Madipatla, who is a keen seeker of self-development, and you can always find he's got curious questions and a person who is in the path of self-enrichment continuously.
Our guest today is a global executive with 25 plus years leading teams and growing businesses across South Africa, the US, and India. With experience at Deloitte, Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, and Merrill, he's built a career on sharp strategy, scalable execution, and navigating complex international M&A. Today, Vamsi is chairman of Laxi and chairman of Clinovo, guiding both companies through ambitious growth. He's also a partner at DigiLife, backing technology-driven startups transforming healthcare. A member of YPO and Abundance 360, he brings a mindset of lifelong learning and exponential thinking to every venture off the clock. He's an avid traveller and culinary explorer, always chasing new ideas, new cultures, and new flavours that shape his global outlook.
So, let's dive into the podcast, and I'm sure you're going to get a lot of insights which will help you to first become aware of who and what is controlling us, and eventually gain suzerainty over your own choices, your own destiny. Stay tuned. Welcome, Vamsi Garu. Nice to have you in our podcast. Finally, we had your wife, Dr. Lavanya Garu, on relating to sleep, which is, I always find, sleep has come into the mainstream. It is a part of health as such. So now, who controls you? And I've known you always a keen admirer of self-development, especially the strength of intellect. So I thought we should have you as such.
Thanks for having me over. In this journey of self-realization, which I have not started with the intent, but it happened through the experiences of life. And I met you probably about close to a decade and a half ago. And my life has also changed quite a bit. And I must say that it is a continuous journey. And one of the areas which I have a lot of desire to practice, learn more, to be a better individual is the whole topic of control. And in that topic of control, when we say who controls you, maybe if you can dive a little bit deeper into, is it an individual? Is it an experience? Is it an environment, the environment that you are in? Or is it the people around you or what's going on in your life that controls you? Maybe if you can throw some light on that, on this topic, it would be great.
Great question, and this is a necessary learning. Who controls us? In briefly, it's people, it is your positions and your possessions. People, those who relate with, most closer to you, and acquaintance and distant, those who have an impact. People control us. You could have had a morning conversation and it could have been very inspiring. That thought may control you. The conversation you had with a person may control you. Or the position you are, the chairman and managing director of an organization. That position may control you. Or your possessions. The various, we are all having various possessions. For some people, a mobile phone can control them. So, briefly saying, the people, positions, and possessions. If one of it controls you, you could be in trouble. Meaning, we have allowed an external source, an entity, to control the way we think, feel, and make choices. Even if people control you, you can't make choices on your own. I mean, in simple terms, you can't be true to yourself. Your relationship with the person makes you function in a certain way which suits the other person. Or a position. Because of a position, you can't do certain things. For some people, all three controls them. People control them. Positions control them. Possessions control them. So when they are controlled by these factors, this is where the problem starts.
Is in my own life, it took me a while to understand this subject, and it's so vast that I continue to have a desire to know more. But is there a certain age which a person should ask themselves about these questions? Because it's very tough for a person who's a child who's evolving into a young adult or a young adult starting a career to realize some of these aspects. In my own life, when I was young, if I never thought of these aspects, but as we proceed in our lives in different phases, ups and downs, relationships with family members, friends, and society, the quest has begun for me maybe over the last 15 years. I really feel that this should have begun earlier. Is that possible for people to realize this and ask this question internally and practice something towards this?
Ideally, this should, every youngster should ask this question. Even at least, if not early stage, sometimes the family environment should also provoke such meaningful conversations. A person, I remember, we have the the mind and intellect conversation for next gen, the young adults. We asked them, you're getting angry, so you're controlled by a person. So in simple terms, when a person is extroverted, which is they're focusing on the world, you predominantly lived in the United States. So in the United States, extroverted is considered good, a go-getter. That's fine. In that way, it's fine. But when we are extroverted in the spiritual sense, you're always focused on the world. And that doesn't help you to question properly. You are only blaming others. But when you turn introvert, when you turn inward and start, why am I going through all these things? Why am I getting agitated? When you start questioning yourself, then the next stage will be where, who is controlling me? What is controlling me? Ideally, much, much earlier. That's the reason, if the inclination starts from the age of 10, 11, so as simple as, it is could be anger, could be jealousy. When they start questioning, I don't want to experience these negative emotions, then that question leads to a better direction. In fact, especially if you ask me, young at the age of 14, 15, for sure they should have this question. Am I becoming a victim of herd instinct? Everybody wants to do software engineer.
But isn't that a factor of the environment that the child is growing up in,
Correct.
their family, their parents, to put that thought which provocates them to think in this
It
direction?
is. If that's why parents, if they can genuinely encourage children to think, it is. This is where you have a healthy conversation, meaningful conversation. Then they are Then they are open-minded. That is when their thinking comes in. But if the environment is closed, very strict, they should be disciplined. But it's too strict, and you have to follow a herd instinct. Whatever others did, you follow it. So you don't even think. So ideally, I'm glad you're asking that question. We should start thinking much earlier. This is where the seed for the intellectual development happens. Otherwise, why there are many people who take up to a study to a university just because that's what was available, that's what was suggested. Because cyber security is very good, that doesn't mean everyone should take up to it. It is just because the father was a doctor, a medical practitioner, that doesn't mean that their daughter should take up to it. So it is earlier we get into this discussion, and see, the best part is you may not know what you should take up to, but at least the inquiry has started. So the earlier the better. But if you ask me right now, this day, you should start. Who controls? In fact, why I'm telling, most people are stressed. Many people are stressed, and they attribute the stress to external factors. And my guru used to say, all stress is internal. He says, let's have a conversation, you say. All stress is internal. You may even say traffic jam, the markets, the cryptocurrency was before like this. You may attribute various factors, but eventually it is all stress is internal. It could be even a calamity, but if you are not able to maintain, the stress multiplies. So predominantly the questioning should happen much earlier. If that's why I say many people are consequence receivers. They don't question it. Those who are a conscious choice maker, they question. We wanted to have this topic, who controls. We made a conscious choice of Mr. Vamsi.
Thank you. So, just relating to my own journey in life, we've met so many times and talked about the subject of mind and intellect. For me to appreciate that and get into a much more deeper um, understanding of this topic, who controls you, I've observed my own life on, though sometimes I'm aware there are many things controlling me. The way that I have been processing, or in my view, what I feel controls me at times is also, number one, the environment or the specific occurrence of an event that is controlling me, or a behavior of somebody close to me who's controlling me. But beyond that, even things like sleep, things like the food I eat, have a major impact on what controls me. I've also observed that um, being physically fit and exercising helps in this journey. So, a question for you is, in a priority of various things that I've just gone through, is there a hierarchy that we should look at and introspect, saying, what is that that's controlling us?
If you observe hierarchy, it's the mind which controls you. Your likes and dislikes, your impulses control you. Your weak emotions control you. Then comes your intelligence. You are intelligent in the field of activity. Your ideas will control you. And comes hierarchy, then is the ego. Our ego controls us. The need and necessity to prove that I am better than someone else. to highlight that I am achieved certain aspects, controls us. So this is the control factor. Sometimes it's your mind, sometimes it's your intelligence. You have an idea, and someone else challenges your idea, and your intelligence will control it. How I thought about this.
And you're ticked off.
Sorry, again.
You're ticked off.
Correct. Or ego. Somebody tells you, your ego controls you. So this is the hierarchy, and it also varies. At times, your ego controls. Somebody says something. How can they talk to me that way? The ego. At times, the mind controls. You're in the car, and suddenly you see something else. It controls. Then comes media, markets, and money. The specific control is this: mind, intelligence, and ego. Then comes the hierarchy, the specific control. The general control is media. One comment on your social media can impact you, good way or a negative way. You wrote an article in LinkedIn, and you didn't expect this many comments on it, and suddenly not bad. Right? It controls you. I think I'm a good writer. And it can media, social media, the print media or the television media can control. At times we had a conversation. I said, this is what I go through in media, and then you said it's completely different. So in that way, media, then specific control is mind, intelligence, and ego. General control is media, markets. Everyone is investing in some way or the other. Could be stock market, real estate market, or controls, and money.
So, just dwelling a little deeper into this topic, certain times, and I can only ask questions the way that I experience it in my life. So, at certain times, if there is I am being controlled, I can feel it. I introspect and try to ask what that reason is. It could be that particular day about an event that happened at work, or somebody responding to me in a certain way. And then I introspect, and I'm pretty good at least understanding the cause and then putting that to rest. But many a times there are reasons which you cannot really introspect and find out. It's somewhere subconsciously. So what are the practices a person should adopt to first of all identify if something is controlling them? And if so, how do you address it?
We identify what is controlling you by the affectations, by the impact it has on your life. And as you mentioned, when you introspect, when you reflect carefully, you're able to identify the source. It's like if you became angry and that negative emotion is controlling you, and if you are in this path of self-development, in the path of improving your mind and intellect, you will understand that there is one of my desire which is interrupted by a person, by the market. So that's when the clarity comes in, and we are able to take a corrective measure. You don't want to be controlled. The other aspect, there are sometimes you're not conscious enough as to what could be the reason why it is controlling me. But this is where, even if you can't identify, there is some non-acceptance in that area. If there is acceptance is there, then you are not allowing that experience to control you. There is some non-acceptance. Then when you delve a little more deeper using your intellect, what is that non-acceptance? Is it a person? Is it some wrong anticipation of certain aspects? Non-acceptance of an outcome will control you. So then this is where, when you delve properly, when you dissect it, then a little more clarity comes in. And that's why I said, in simple terms, some desire is interrupted. And you're taken, not only that, you're taken by surprise. When you're taken by surprise, the mind almost freezes, gets agitated. Then you react in a certain way. Or Sometimes you're not clearly aware as what that issue is, but in essence, there is some non-acceptance of this outcome. And why am I not able to accept this outcome?
For for a for a normal individual, in my opinion, they should first, like what you said, understand that there is something controlling them. Pause, take a step back, and be idle and look into this. But unfortunately, what I'm seeing today, and especially in most of the companies, the youth, and the people around, their definition of stepping back and taking a pause is looking into their social media or looking into the reels or watching some other stimuli. And I think it is going to become a very big problem if people continue to have this kind of a behavior. There needs to be a way that they can understand in simple terms how to practice
I
this.
mean, you're right. I mean, I'm with you. It is going to be a disease, a mental disease. If one of the major reasons is they are all extroverted. When a person is extroverted, it's easy to blame others. So this is where we say the three transactions which is happening. One is you're receiving inputs, stimuli from the world. You don't have a control much about it. No, you are receiving stimuli, the inputs from the world. You are taking in through your five sense organs: eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and skin. The world enters you. That's the first transaction. The second transaction happens is a reaction within your mind and intellect. The mind is either liking it or disliking it. And the reaction which happens, that's the second transaction. Third transaction is your responses to the world. Your response is graceful, irrespective of whatever stimuli, material, the inputs come in. If your mind and intellect is strong enough, clear, the responses are graceful. If the mind is too strong, intellect is weak, we react aggressively. When the intellect is calm, stronger, clearer, you respond gracefully. When the mind is strong, intellect is weak, we react aggressively. That's even in medical terms. They say when you're given a prescription and when you are progressing, they say you are responding to the treatment well. And if you're not progressing, they say there is some reaction. There's inflammation here. You're reacting to this medicine. Let's change it. Even in medical terms, responding gracefully is right. Reacting aggressively is negative. And little further on this, because it's a loaded question you ask. The first step in this is, I would say, is accountability. Each one of us must make ourselves accountable, responsible for the choices, for the emotions, for the thoughts we entertain. Not many are making themselves, if it is my life, then it is my choice. It is my responsibility. That we consciously make ourselves responsible, accountable for every thought, emotion, and choice we execute. Not many of them, they don't make themselves accountable. It's easy to blame others. In life, no blaming allowed. First, first you are responsible for your first step is accountability. I said that we have devised a 3 A's to a blissful life. Even in investments, then it's a triple A category, they say. Am I right?
Yeah.
Triple A category. If somebody wants to invest in you, we need to have the triple A category. First is accountability. I am making myself accountable, responsible for every thought, emotion, and choice I make. You may say, how can we all entertain close to 60 or 90,000 thoughts a day? Is it possible? Predominantly or crucial, important aspects, you first make yourself accountable. Second is attitudes. When I make myself accountable, then my attitude improves. My work, the way I look at my work improves. If I say, if I'm enjoying a nice standard of living, I'm able to go for nice holidays. Children are studying in good universities. Have a in a nice place to live. Have a good position. Where does that come from? From the work I do. Your attitude towards work improves. I may not go to a place of worship every day, but going to my office, sitting there and doing my obligatory duties is my worship. Work becomes worship. Second is attitudes. And first is accountability, second is attitudes, third is adaptability. On the other day, we were doing a podcast with a YPO, one of the board members. They were discussing on adaptability quotient, AQ. People are talking about IQ, CQ, SQ. Now it's AQ, adaptability quotient. So you make yourself accountable and you improve on your attitudes. We keep highlighting attitudes is without changing anything externally, with a slight change in the way I think, I feel, and I make choices, everything about my life improves.
So for a person to do that, we hear that meditation helps or different practices help. But what is a simple way? Is it and for me, I'll tell you what helps. For me, taking a step back, sitting in a quiet room, and just reflecting on what's going on in my head. I don't meditate. I don't. The definition of meditation is sometimes perceived in different ways by many people. Like that, for a person who wants to start this journey, can you give some tips?
That's the tip I would suggest. See, the whole aspect is we need to spend some quality time with ourselves. That's what it is. Meditation is, is good, but later stage. Blaise Pascal, a great thinker, said, all suffering of humanity can be sorted out if a person is willing to sit in a place quietly and think. That's it. See, it is. You have to be willing to sit in a place quietly and think. It could be closing your eyes or just reflecting. Many a times you will observe the problem is me and the solution is also me. That's why it's so important. I'm glad you brought up this question. Many people suggest meditation, and that also
And some people perceive meditation as a very tough task of looking at something or keeping your mind still, and they just said this is not for me, and they do something
Correct.
else.
It is. That's why you can't. The suggestion is you have to become meditative. You can't try meditation. Still, there are many meditation apps and all. I still consider meditation as important, but meditation is like a marathon. You're a runner,
It is. It is a long journey.
It is. You got to prepare yourself. But if we are able to, for the first aspect, in this, we have to feel uncomfortable with certain aspects of our life. If I am feeling uncomfortable, then only there is the thinking that I should improve comes in. A person living in a slum is very comfortable living in a slum. What can I say? You have such potential. You can scale great heights, but I am okay here. What can you do? First, that discomfort within should come in.
Yes.
I don't want to be this way. I don't want to be short term. I don't want to be indulgent. I don't want to be a victim of a substance. I don't want to be dictated by my ego. That discomfort should be there. Then they start thinking. That's where you expose yourself to books or lectures or workshops or all these aspects. Then you will pick something will resonate with you. That's why I said, I've known you for over 10, 12 years now. That's when you are an independent thinker, in fact, original thinker. And as a result, if you can sit in a place quietly without a gadget, and then it could be closing your eyes, just stilling your mind, and then just thinking, then you slowly, it will not happen straight away. But over a period of time, you'll find.
And not only that, when you do that practice, there may be emotions and disturbances that arise, but at least you'll know why they're arising.
Correct. See, this is where the awareness comes in.
Yeah.
Could this be And maybe slowly and slowly, you are becoming aware of the thoughts, emotions, and choices you are entertaining. So this is a must, Andy. In fact, every day, you like going to going for a jog and exercising. Every day, we start the day with a gratitude prayer, pranams to Mata, Pita, Guru, Deva, and then if you can sit for 10 minutes without any rules, the moment a role of a CEO comes in, thoughts entertain.
No, I can second that. I mean, the days that due to travel or some other reason I miss it, I see the outcome of the day is a little more stressed. The day that I take time to reflect, um, it's a much smoother and a nicer day, an enjoyable day.
In fact, that's when you are being true to yourself. See, it is. I've seen you all this while, and I find you more in control of yourself. It is, and we are talking about this is spiritual fitness. There's accountability, attitudes, and adaptability. The COVID has taught us how to get adaptable. Those who are not able to adapt themselves suffered a lot. So these accountability and attitudes helps you to become more adaptable. So once you are able to do that, no situation controls you, no external factor controls you. You understand in this aspect, maybe I have to adapt in this way, or you function in a certain way. You make the world adapt to you. It is so. This is how slowly we gain control of ourselves. Yes.
So, now, for the last several minutes, we've talked about how things are controlling us without our notice, and which can be detrimental. But over several discussions that we've had, and correct me if I'm wrong, my perception is there could be a positive aspects of control as well. And 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 recently we had a discussion, unplanned discussion, where we were thinking about a framework of how to address this. And what I have gathered in our discussion, I'd like to phrase it in my own language and please reflect on it, is when you are controlled, the framework to take is to first step back, be aware, introspect what is controlling you, put that aspect to rest or get into peace with that aspects, and then depending upon the situation that you're in, introduce a new emotion, a new inspiration or aspiration that can actually help you in your journey where you are in your life. It could be achieving a business goal, it could be developing a deeper relationship with your family members, it could be picking up a skill. In these kinds of situations, can you elaborate on some positive controls that also help?
Excellent, and I'm glad people work on positive controls. There are times when you're getting into a business, and markets could be difficult, or the political scenarios are turbulent. And if you say this has a future, perseverance should control you. Resilience should control you. Not giving up. See, for you, not giving up is you're not functioning from the standpoint of ego. You are
See, that is always the thing that comes up with people is saying when you say you want to have develop grit and resilience and you want to have these qualities, some people perceive that is if it's driven by ego.
right.
So maybe a few minutes on that
Yes.
topic also
See,
would be helpful.
ego is, we keep highlighting, ego is exaggerated glorification of oneself. Exaggerated glorification of oneself. In that aspect, it's self importance. It's my idea, it has to work. What will others think of me? More than that, so that is, it looks like you're persevering, but you're actually being rigid, adamant. So most people perceive that way. An egoistic person will perceive that. But when there is a pure mind, a sharp intellect, and a higher ideal, you are going through it. There's perseverance, meaning Alexander Graham Bell, right?
Yeah.
Over 1,000 failed experiments. or maybe much more than that, failed experiments. He persevered with it. Imagine his potential of perseverance forever, generations.
So perseverance and aspiration, inspiration driven by intellect
Intellect
is not from
is
ego.
not from
So
ego.
that's the
That is the key. Where you are not trying to prove to others that you are better. It's a great idea. It will benefit others and yourself, but people don't understand it yet. I remember talking to this gentleman from Canada, and he was mentioning what do you call e-commerce in 2004 or 5. Food, what do you call food delivery, grocery delivery, and they said at that time we said, who is going to buy online? And he didn't persevere with that. He pitched that idea to certain investors. I said, not possible. This is not who's going to buy. People like to go to big what do you call Walmarts and buy. And why would anybody buy online scrolling on a thing? He said, can you imagine if that idea I've taken up? Perseverance. See, this is where either our intellect is not strong enough. Somebody questions your idea and you start questioning your idea itself. Is it right? So, when intellect is. I've been in this path of Vedanta, in the spirituality for the last 30 years now. I'm so convinced that this will work. But you have to put in effort. It is like that's why we keep highlighting. Anyone who puts in effort in this path, there'll be compounding results in this. It is not, and I experience it, and I've seen you go through it. So there is no self-importance. There is self-esteem. Even if somebody thinks that you are egoistic, you can't do anything. They are being judgmental of you. But you can have a good relationship with them, but they'll still be judgmental. So this is where you are fired by that idea. It's a higher ideal, and you know it will work. Right now, the processes I've involved may not be incongruent, so you keep redefining the process, and that's where perseverance and resilience will work.
Are there other positive controls
Yes,
that you can talk about?
when it comes to certain relationships, at times compassion works. In going back to business, perseverance and what shall I say, resilience will manifest as consistency.
Yes.
That consistent effort works. It is in Sanskrit they call it prasada buddhi. You're putting in all the effort, and you're not focused on the results. See, result is there, but there is no craving for the result. The emphasis on process excellence. So, process excellence may control you. It says, have we excelled in our process? If it is not if the results are not coming, there may be some lacuna in the process. So you're working on it, business-wise. And as leadership, as a leader of an organization, am I setting an example? Am I enthusiastic about my own vision? So your quality should, as a leader's thing, should inspire, should control them. Many a times I take the example of Nelson Mandela as a leader. It is when he said, as I walk out of the prison and walk into freedom, if I don't walk out of the anger and hatred towards those who imprison me, I'll still consider myself to be in prison.
Right. Very powerful.
I mean, as a leader,
Yeah.
if I don't, as I walk out of the prison and walk into freedom, if I don't walk out of the anger and hatred towards those who imprison me, I will still consider myself to be in prison. He set an example, and he lived with that value all his life. So I remember when he passed away, there are 4 American presidents, the present and the last 3, I guess, who attended his funeral. Can you imagine? So I'm just giving that leadership quality inspired him. It is. I strongly recommend the movie Invictus. Again done by an American, Clint Eastwood. It is the small poem inspired him, controlled him. I am the master of my destiny and the captain of my soul, or last 2 sentences. So in business, All these qualities should control you. In your relationships, at times, compassion should control you. It could be your children or compassion. See, compassion is a effect of sympathy and empathy. Empathy is you understand what other. Sympathy is feel for them. Compassion is you understand what they go through. You feel for them, and you do your best to help them out. Compassion. At times, compassion. If I'm sitting here and talking, the compassion of my parents help me. I mean, no doubt about it. Compassion of my father helped me. So, at times compassion, at times forgiveness should control you. You've been wronged. One is to go for the kill. And you think, is it worth it?
So just reflecting on how I practice some of the things that you have spoken about. I've simplified it in my mind, and when I sit calm or go to a spiritual place, I the one thing that I desire is good buddhi. And the reason I do that is if I have good buddhi, my decision making, my state of awareness, and my actions towards positive controls in a better state. And the reason I ask for good buddhi is sometimes I feel that there are karmic forces also playing. In that kind of a situation, having good buddhi is the critical requirement.
Absolutely.
Do you agree to?
Absolutely, 100%. 100%. That's the reason our friendship has grown. Even though we don't meet that often, there's always a fondness between each other. A respect for each other. Good buddhi. If you ask me any place of, if you want to ask something, good buddhi. See, you're not asking the situation to become better. You are asking your intellect to become better so that you can deal with the situation.
But I've noticed if you practice good buddhi, the outcomes are going to be phenomenal.
Correct. Correct. Correct.
It's a path towards an outcome.
See, it is a path towards the right levels of control.
Exactly.
See, what is happening is you are peaceful not because of something, in spite of everything. The good buddhi, because, everyone says they are happy because of something. Good buddhi, you are peaceful in spite of everything.
No, but I must say that there were instances in my professional career and business have ups and downs. The way that I'm able to handle it at this stage of my journey to versus what I could handle it maybe a decade ago is completely different because of some of these practices.
Fabulous, Andy. See, these are all essential practices, and this will help any entrepreneur, startup, businessman, or a professional, student, because of good buddhi. See, what good buddhi gives you? Clarity in understanding the situation. You become objective with the choices available, and the third aspect is you are able to embrace the results. You are not bogged down. It's not happening. You are able to improve on the process. You are able to make a better decision because of you understand, and I need to look at this way. So, like Graham Bell, when somebody asked him, 1,000 failed experiments, and we are not annoyed, he said, I came to know of 1,000 ways of not doing it. No, the buddhi was strong enough to deal with it. Or Nelson Mandela, look at that emotion. To 27 years you're put behind bars, and to come out and not to have negativity towards those who imprisoned him. This is the impact of a good buddhi, which is what you're seeking. And I tell you, continue to do that. That will give you the impact.
So, in response to your statement saying continue to do that, another thing that I've realized over the journey, and it's not a realization that just came up, is our mind, body, soul, all that is like fluid, is in fluid state. Right. and it requires constant taming of the mind, practicing that so you don't lose track. And we're having this discussion. This discussion sometimes can last for a day or two, and then people sort of get back into their regular modes. I feel this has to be a constant practice, and I feel that it's not like you go for a discussion, a course, or you practice it for a month, and people think, okay, it's going to be very helpful. It may be, but I think it should be a consistent practice throughout to tame that mind. What are your views on that?
Absolutely. See, anything subtler takes time. People may know it, but they may not implement it. They may understand it, but they may still not be inspired by it. But what you're saying is, you become aware of it, you are inspired by it, and you implement it. That's the reason constant association with these thoughts, with these ideas, and people who resonate with these ideas and thoughts, if it is there, then what happens? Implementation becomes easier. Otherwise, it was at the time, that time was nice, but see, we are influenced by so many other aspects. There's a statement, right? Tell me your friends, I'll tell you who you are.
Yep.
You may be thinking in different ways, but you are influenced. You are controlled by various factors. Therefore, consistency is the key. Consistency should control you. Now, you've been a health freak, if may put it across.
Not really a health freak, but try
freak
to
in the
keep
sense,
up.
you are in the sense you are. Even in Dubai, I remember he used to say, I jog the whole stretch and come. And when I say health freak in a good way, not in a negative way, it is consistency. Business consistency. It is. There are various great companies, I don't want to name them, who had over 50% market share. Where are they? Where are they? This is where a certain other aspect, see, consistency, plus, we got to understand, that's it, that awareness plays a role. If my life is not growing, it means my goals are not growing. It is if an organization is not growing, their organizational goals are not growing. So consistently reflecting on these things, that's why it is set your priorities right. Don't focus on what's on your priorities. Improve on your priorities. Sometimes we say your stop doing list should be bigger than your start doing list. So
Absolutely.
Consistently, and that's why associate with people, associate with books, associate with environments which promotes this. These
And another phrase I just wanted to put it, which I constantly remember when I see that there's something disturbing me, something controlling me, is the phrase that you often use is anxieties of the past and worries of the past and anxiety of the future. I think that is so relevant. Maybe you can spend a few
Yes.
minutes on that
See,
topic.
many a times, a person who functions on the mind, the nature of the mind goes to the anxieties of the past, the worries of the past or anxieties of the future, and another one, excitement in the present.
Excitement in the present.
Three ways: past, present, and future gets muddled, or it starts controlling you. The worries of the past, anxieties of the future. What will happen? Tariffs are coming in. I don't know what are.
And it really causes suffering.
That is the nature of the mind. My mind, your mind, everybody's mind. The moment the intellect comes in, the intellect quietens the noise of the mind. Intellect understands, tries to bring in clarity to the situation. Even in the worries of the past, the intellect says, how many ever times I revisit the past, there's nothing new to learn there. An adult is telling the child, how many ever times I revisit the past, there's nothing new to learn there. The future will happen provided the present is proper. Present action executed diligently, progressively, will create the future. And by being excited in the present, what is it serving me? What has my anger proved to me? Except disruption in relationships. So nature of the mind is to go to the worries of the past, anxieties of the future, and become too excited in the present. That's why they equate the mind to a child, intellect to an adult. A wonderful villa cannot be left to a 3-year-old child. It has to be managed by an adult. Our intellect our life must be predominantly managed by the intellect. Or at times a combination of mind and intellect. When we talk about compassion or forgiveness. See, that's when we say it's difficult to forgive others, it's almost impossible to forgive yourself. It's the mind. The moment intellect comes into play, you may be reminded of a thought. It says is to set the prisoner free and to finally understand the prisoner was none other than myself. The intellect comes into play.
Absolutely.
I am not forgiving others for them. I'm forgiving, I deserve more peace. So this is why people say I find it very difficult to forgive others. Mind is too strong. I can't forget what he has done. You can't.
The thought itself will provoke the bad thoughts.
Correct. So it's the mind. See, mind is not really a problem. It's an indisciplined mind. And unrefined mind is a problem. Mind is like a knife in the kitchen. You can use a knife to kill others or to cut vegetables.
And it's so unfortunate that people are suffering with diseases because of not taming their mind. Because somebody said that, because of this, the stress and BP, and people are lost or caught in some sort of a loop which they need to break and come out.
Correct. They are lost to their own mind games.
Yeah, mind games.
It's all mind game. Your mind is playing a game with you and winning hands down every time. The moment you bring in the intellect, it's how much ever I revisit my past, there's nothing new to learn there. It's like going around a roundabout for 45 minutes, a lot of traveling, no distance covered. So the intellect comes into play. Look here, it's a lesson learned. It's not a life sentence. Next, the future, but will that happen? Of course it will happen, provided my present actions are in congruence with the process. So the intellect firmly polices the mind. And why are you excited? Why are you getting agitated? Intellect, you're getting angry with whom? And for what? Or fearful.
These situations of anger and fearful are also because you're not aware of what is controlling you.
Correct. In fact, the moment somebody can make you angry,
that fellow is controlling you.
Correct.
Or that instance is controlling you.
So it's like my guru used to say, you're going for a walk. There's a dog in one of the villas, and you do something. You make a noise. The dog starts barking at you. And somebody says something about you, and you are barking for the next half an hour. What should I tell you? Actually, it looks so crude when I say that. Anger, fear, jealousy. Somebody else is controlling you. I mean, I'm telling you, if you could have built a nice villa, and your friend, who's according to you, is less educated than you, but he has done some business and done well. He's built a 6-bedroom villa. The jealousy can control. See, if the intellect comes into play, hey, that's wonderful. Then this guy, in a short span of time, he brought in certain products, which was, if you are happy for it. If the intellect comes into play, you are happy for his success. When you meet him, hey, I heard about this. I'm so happy for your success. He will spend more time with you, because if the jealousy controls, see, if jealousy controls these days, he's got a lot of political connects.
It's easy to throw statements.
See, what does it mean? My non-acceptance of another person's success. It's the mind. I have put in so much effort. I studied in famous universities, and I did IT related. I'm saying technology business. This fellow is selling laddus. I'm just saying, no. So this man, 100,000 laddus a day. I'm just saying, no. Non-acceptance creates jealousy, or non-acceptance of a certain aspect creates anger. So more and more, the intellect controls you. a strong intellect, a high value system, a clear ideal, and a genuinely pure mind starts controlling you, there's no enemies. There is there is no. I mean, everyone seems to be a. I mean, a cleaning a place also may say. I still remember in Egypt when we went for for a tour, the driver of the tourist vehicle, the way he kept the vehicle clean every time, I used to be stunned. You know, he doesn't own the vehicle. We go for a, you see the pyramids and come the spick and span, the car, the van.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, if a pure mind, a sharp intellect, high value systems, and nobler ideal, everyone, that is controlling your thoughts, emotions, and choices, then there is no negative. That's why I'm saying.
And just to add to that, focusing a little bit more on entrepreneurs and who want to achieve big goals. I think a combination of what you said
Correct.
with the right intellectual input and information,
Correct.
whether in the form of books, what's happening in the area that you are pursuing or you're inspired to build something, reading, meeting people, getting the positive thoughts, and in combination with that, practicing what you have said, I think can make
Yes.
phenomenal impact and create great outcomes.
Sure, and like Ratan Tata. See, Ratan Tata, if as an entrepreneur, phenomenal entrepreneur, and what I mentioned, what you added on, he practiced it consciously, and he didn't make a noise out of it. It is when he passed away, the entire nation mourned his death, and he's not a freedom fighter or no, he was an
Exactly.
entrepreneur.
An entrepreneur.
It is so they had all that. It's not that he made money and stayed in an island of his own. He was staying. See, we are not talking about frugality or miserliness here. They're high value systems
Value system.
and contribution. It is so all absolutely right. See, in simple terms, Andy, we're all an evolving consciousness. You know, if you are putting in effort on a regular basis, all these things will happen. And otherwise, what happens is the worst thing for an entrepreneur to get into the mode is taking things and people for granted. They are if the very subtle ego. That's why I said for an entrepreneur or a professional, when you're successful, your success should feed your responsibilities, not your ego. If your success feeds your ego, I have achieved. You may not tell others. Subconsciously, you feel it's because of me. I have contributed.
And then something else starts controlling you, undesired
So,
controls.
if your success feeds your responsibilities, that's what I find in Ratan Tata or some of the great entrepreneurs, in you, in Sreedharanji. It's all your success is enhanced your responsibilities to your clients, to your employees, to your product, to the government. You become far more responsible. And that you'll find it'll keep helping you. It's keeping your intellect in the right ways. And it help you to deal with people. Or you are progressing on your thoughts and ideas.
I also want to share an example or a practice that helps me is when there is a situation that you is in front of you and you have to address it. It could be a problem, it could be an opportunity. The practice of sitting back, practicing all the things that we have been speaking over the last 30 to 45 minutes, immediately may not give you an answer or a solution to that situation or problem. But suddenly it comes out. And that's the beauty of this, is what I've realized in my personal experience.
See, that's a great awakening, Vamsi. See, because the Bhagavad Gita highlights two types of happiness: true happiness and false happiness. It says false happiness is like nectar in the beginning and poison in the end. True happiness is like poison in the beginning but nectar in the end. It says it's uncomfortable to work on your intellect, to do it on a regular
very
basis,
uncomfortable.
it's uncomfortable. And you may not find effects that easily. Anything subtler takes time. Even physical health takes a little bit of time. This is talking about mental well-being.
This is beyond physical health.
It
The effort required is
beyond,
beyond physical
and
health.
consistency.
Consistency.
It is not giving up and persevering. Sometimes for a month or so you may not see much changes, but you're at it. You're at it. And as the Englishman says, the penny drops. Suddenly it hits.
Yes.
It hits, and suddenly you may be
But I just wish people experience that sooner before they give up.
correct. I mean, I'm with you.
I really feel then they can see the benefit of what we're talking.
Because they may give up is because of the cravings of the mind, or the mind becomes stronger. I don't think. See, and most people are spiritual shoppers. For yoga, I do this. There is very less structured approach. When I say structured, I'm not being rigid here. We have to understand that you got to dedicate yourself, and then it comes. And when you do that, the entrepreneur, student, homemaker, everyone. See, isn't it everyone wants to be peaceful and happy? I have not come across one person who says, I'm so super joyful being stressed out 24/7. Everybody wants to be peaceful and joyful.
I agree.
There's only one way. There's one way to be joyful is to improve on the quality of your thoughts and emotions. We keep highlighting, without improving the quality of your thoughts and emotions, nothing about our life improves. Nothing about our life improves. So this is where your control factor is.
So going to the topic of what you just said, controlling your thoughts and emotions. Again, I remember a quote that we often discuss and which you bring up is contentment with the past, acceptance with the present, and aspiration for the future.
Correct.
It resonates brilliantly for entrepreneurs.
What you're saying.
Maybe you can spend a few minutes.
What you're defining contentment, that's why I keep saying it came up after years and years of independent reflection. I wish it is there on the. I find everybody, entrepreneur, every individual should experience contentment. Contentment is possible when there is gratitude to the past, acceptance in the present, and aspiration for the future. We keep highlighting contentment doesn't mean I have a 2-bedroom apartment, I'm okay with it. I don't know. In fact, such people have a fear of scaling up. Even a business entrepreneur, they say, I'm doing 20 million, but it's okay. I don't want to do, because there's a fear of scaling up. If I become a 100 million, I don't know whether I'll deal with it properly. There's a fear. And then contentment cannot happen if there is no gratitude to the past.
Yes.
We keep highlighting gratitude and disturbance can never coexist. If you are disturbed, you are not grateful. If there is gratitude, you can't be. And I've known, I don't want to bring in any experience, but many things which happen, you feel grateful. So in fact, you say that was a good thing that happened.
Yes.
When it comes to the past, if you can process with gratitude, good, bad,
there is peace.
There is peace. Good, bad, difficult, whatever, you process with gratitude. When it comes to the present, you process with powerful acceptance. Not a passive acceptance, what to do. I have a hysterical boss, or I have a difficult partner. Practice with a powerful acceptance. This is where the intellect comes in play. Acceptance. You'll always find in the present scenario, in the experience, if you are agitated, there is something there's something you're non-accepting of. Could be a person, could be a situation, could be an outcome. There is some non-acceptance in the present. That's what. And aspiration. It is aspiration gives a direction to your efforts. There is no aspiration at all. Sometimes I find with very wealthy families, then the younger generation has no aspiration. When you are 19, you are gifted a Lamborghini. What? I mean, nothing wrong. The parents want to pamper the children, but there's no. They've gone to Saint Tropez, 50 times. You're going to. So it is. There is no. I'm not saying don't do that. There's no aspiration. Not every family, but some of them, there's no aspiration.
Yeah.
So therefore, when there's no aspiration, there's no enthusiasm. There is no motivation. Therefore, when it comes to the past, each one of us should process with gratitude. Comes to the present, powerful acceptance. When it comes to the future, there's an aspiration. You you are a 100 million company. You want to become a $5 billion company. It is, but you are not craving for it. It's a direction. It's a direction, and it is why we are doing podcast. It required. It keeps your enthusiasm on track. It keeps you inspired. Is another. It's like again Graham Bell's a few thousand failed experiments. It is, but the direction is set. So 500 experiments didn't work out. I think I should shut the shop. No, not that he keeps doing it, and the aspiration is there. So contentment is a necessary or a compulsory experience a human being should have, and let me tell you, only a human being can experience it. Have you ever found a lion after a kill very content? I'm not going to go out for a hunt for another few months. If it,
But reflecting on this topic, I mean, people watching this podcast may think, okay, things that you're all normal people, you're happy, and you can talk like this. Can you reflect on how a person suffering with maybe a disease, a cancer, or some very painful situation in life, how they can feel better, or this practice, will it help in their health
I
also?
have seen in every aspect this practice helps. When I say contentment, it's not passive, it's very active. Even a person who have gone through cancer or
Because sometimes the person who's suffering with such an disease or ailment may think, what did I do for me to get it?
correct.
And they are controlled with that feeling, and they get into a downward spiral.
It might happen that haunting question, why me? Why
Yes.
me? And they will start comparing. I know this fellow who's such a ridiculous person. Nothing happens. Why me? See, this is a question posed by the mind, which will never fetch right answer. Even if there is a right answer, there's a non-acceptance of the mind. Even if in case there's a right answer, there's non-acceptance of the mind. And such people become weak and they'll give in to various other aspects. I don't know. So, but
So how do people like that address that
see,
control?
this is where their association with certain people. The question is, one is to beat myself down with that experience. Another is, how do I deal with it? I have seen enough and more people who, at that point of time, whatever their sattvic quality, the pure qualities in them, the intellect comes into play. I've known quite a few people after a cancer, they say that's the best thing that happened. In a way, they started valuing life much better. This is where I'm saying a person who's too selfish, too self-centered, lack of values, blaming others, it's very difficult. You can't help them beyond a point, but a little bit of values, an ounce of unselfishness, they say what matters now is most important. I will do what has to be done right now and deal with it. So, what I'm saying is therefore, a person aligning to higher values, nobler thoughts should happen much before. It's like a person has a beautiful factory and he refuses to take a fire insurance policy, and the factory has got fire, and now rushing, where do I get the insurance? Nobody's going to give you a policy at that time. Everyone takes it, and nobody expects a fire accident. A premium is paid. Similarly, the premium they pay is developing the intellect. So what I'm saying is, a person who's going through it, get into the right satsang. Don't think why me. Don't, at that point of why me, you're going to go down the spiral. Understand what can I, instead of saying why am I going through it, if you can bring in the intellect, what is this trying to teach me? Instead of, what is this trying to teach me? So if that little improvement in the quality of thinking, their whole approach to the situation can improve. Otherwise, it is. I remember, see, this. That's why I'm saying, associate with the right people. Taken this knowledge. The previous question also, consistently. See, it's like, that's it.
I think irrespective of whether you're in sorrow or happiness or joy, this practice is required. So
Correct. Because in fact, when you practice this and everything is going well, your level of gratitude, compassion, forgiveness, hard work, perseverance, of being an example, raising yourself, your quality of products, everything goes up when in good times. And even in difficult times, you are not pulled down. You continue with it.
absolutely.
Life is testing me in certain ways. Let me see who wins. I mean, not in an egoistic way. I will make sure that I am giving my 150%. So when you start doing it, you are not faltering in your own eyes. Otherwise, that's the danger of the mind is we give once you give into the mind. That's why once you give into the mind, it can destroy yourself. They say the mind will never stop until it destroys itself. The words of John Milton: your mind
Absolutely.
in its own place, your mind in its own place can make a hell out of a heaven, or a heaven out of a hell. Your own mind, not anyone else's mind. Your own mind can make a hell out of a heaven or a heaven out of a hell. So heaven and hell are not geographical locations, it's state of mind.
Yeah, and especially if you want to relate that for entrepreneurs, a particular situation may look as a problem. The other way, if you practice this, can look as an
Correct.
opportunity.
How does it become a challenge or an opportunity? Because you understand the potential I have using the intellect is far greater than the situation. It is therefore initially it appears like a problem, but the potential of my mind and intellect, my intelligence, my in the surrounding is far greater. We
Absolutely.
give this example. A guy is walking in the. He's going on a retreat. He's in a spiritual, in a forest area. Every day morning is go for a walk. He's there for a week, and he's going for a walk, and suddenly he hears some noises. And he keeps walking, and after a while, the noises become much more louder. And after sometimes he's seeing a full grown lion right in front of him. It's a problem. Same scenario, he's walking, the noises are there, and then but he continues walking, and he sees a lion in front of him, but he has a AK-47 fully loaded and knows how to deal with it. Now lion has a problem.
Yeah.
So what we are saying is, any situation, it is, if you're using the mind, you view it as a problem, difficulty. If you use your intellect, you see it as a challenge, an opportunity. It's going to be difficult. It will be a lot of effort, but you believe in your own intellectual growth. It's not ego. You say, I will not give up. I will persevere in it. I will take the right guidance. Even if I falter, I will improve on my choices. And giving up is not an option I'm giving into. So, situation, it is the potential of your mind and intellect. Christ was crucified, nailed to the cross, physically excruciating pain, mentally being tortured. His words were, Father, forgive them. They know not what they do. Can you imagine? I'm saying it could be an entrepreneur. I'm saying it is their level of he didn't see it as a problem. As a result, he became one of the beacon light for many people in that faith. So it is a problem or a situation or an opportunity is in the highs is depends on the individual.
I just wish that for everything we have a manual.
Right.
Like if you have a car, or you have buy some gadget, or you take even medicines, it tells you what to take, how to take it. I wish there was a manual for this,
Correct.
what we
No, you're
discussed,
right.
but it's a
It's a
practice.
see. I mean, you nailed it, Vamsi Garu. We are all born in captivity. We are born, and then we're trying to learn how to live life.
Exactly.
And most people, there are three ways of living life. One is learning from others' experiences. The first, or the better aspect is, many people, the first one is learning from their own experience. First one is learning from their own. After four failed relationships, they think I need to work on myself. After four relationships, learning from your own experience. The second aspect would say is learning from others' experience. A person doesn't need to be an alcoholic to understand. I think it's not right to be an alcoholic. Learn from others' experience. The best way is learn through knowledge. Learn through knowledge. Take in that knowledge, bring in that on a regular basis. That's why knowledge is power, they say. So, the manual for living is your own intellect. It's not intelligence. Intelligence is an aspect of your intellect. There are various books. My guru also wrote a book called the Vedanta Treatise, a great book. And there is no manual for living as such now. That's one of those books which highlights it. Whatever book inspires you, it becomes a manual for thinking in a better way, for making the right choices. Once you start doing it, an important thing happens is your mind space is clear. The major aspect is we have allowed some individual to infiltrate our mind space. We have allowed some experience to sit in our mind space and continue to disturb our peace.
No, absolutely.
It is many a times a person who's not content, who's not in control of themselves. What has happened? They have allowed an individual, an experience, or an incident to sit in their mind space, allow them to continue infiltrating their peace, and they are miserable. So that's when we keep highlighting divinity has bestowed the greatest asset to each one of us, irrespective. It's called the most expensive real estate divinity has given, which is your mind space.
Mind space.
What you store in your mind space is your choice.
Absolutely.
You have a beautiful villa, and imagine all neighbors come and throw their dirt into your villa.
Mind is
It's like
such
we are allowing somebody to throw something.
Absolutely.
It's like, and then now I am agitated. Why this person threw some dirt, that neighbor did something, and then this incident happened. We allowed somebody to infiltrate into our mind space, and we allowed them to control the way we think and feel and act. Now we say, I'm agitated, I'm stressed. Keep your peace way above than anything and everything else. Your peace must be your priority. Your mind space is the most expensive real estate nature has given to us. It has given equally. What you store in it is your choice. Therefore, and how you store in it becomes the decision made by the intellect. See, if the intellect is weak, the mind will allow everyone to throw their dirt into your mind space. Now you are suffering. The more the intellect comes into play, the words of Lord Buddha, somebody insulted Lord Buddha. Lord Buddha patiently heard and then walked away. But his disciples were very agitated. He said, how can he insult you this way? And Lord Buddha kept quiet. He said, it was his privilege to give and my privilege to take. That guy gave me so many things. I said, no, thank you, you can keep it. And he told his disciples, you guys took it. You are suffering. So, the most sacred, expensive real estate, mind space. And if you can, see, it can be a bouquet of flowers or a vessel of acid. It depends on how you use it. It could be a bouquet of flowers. Therefore, at times, there's perseverance, there is consistency, there is absolute hard work in sometimes. And there is sometimes the same person, there is forgiveness, there's compassion, there's charity. It's all the same person. The one way looks very smart, very hardworking. Another way, it is same Ratan Tata. Tata Sons gives over 60% of their wealth for charitable purpose. Or sometimes forgiveness. Like Nelson Mandela. He was able to forgive those who imprisoned him 27 years. And at the same time, he was not like a recluse sitting in some place. He was a president of a nation. And we are capable of both extreme success and absolute contentment. Both at the same time. And if anybody experiences that, see, they will put their contentment way greater. Success is for the world. Contentment is for the individual. That's why they say, as you came into this world, when you came into this world, as you cried, the world rejoiced. When you came into this world, as you cried, the world rejoiced. When you leave this world, let the world cry while you rejoice. That satisfaction of having done what has to be done. There's contentment. There's fulfillment. It is, and when the appointed time comes, you almost take a salute. That was a beautiful life. All that I'm saying is, both is possible. Extreme, great success and absolute contentment, and it's possible from your own effort. Everyone else contributes, but there's no blame game. In spite of everything, that's it. There are enough and more examples, and I'm giving you certain general examples, common examples we are aware of. Each one of us have our own examples. You have to look into your own life and reflect on it, and possibly we can raise ourselves. And see, if we are able to do that, what a life we are living, and what an example. See, that's the best legacy. Legacy is what? It not just helps you when you're alive. It helps you when you're alive, and it helps even after that. That's the legacy. I keep highlighting for all the successful entrepreneurs, what you leave in your children is far more important than what you leave for your children.
For your children.
You have to leave something for your children. What you leave in them. The thought of my father must be gratitude, must be respect, reverence. It is what an example. They may not be for me, the thought of a father is no more but his gratitude, reverence, laughter. What you leave in your children is way more important than what you leave for your children. If what you left in your children is great values, enormous, bring a fabulous example, even what you left for them is less. They can make it up. You find all great entrepreneurs, it's not that they are born with a golden spoon.
Absolutely.
You come from a family, but you made it by yourself. You are an example. So, in that way, please, all the time, what you leave, you should focus, but what you leave in them, what you leave in your employees, in your shareholders, what you leave in them, what a leader we had. What a leader we had. What you leave in them is much, much more important.
Yeah.
See, there are many people who may mess up with the money they have. But you can't mess up with the values. It will continue forever, and it will, somebody will pick it up. So, let values control you. Let your pure thoughts control you. Genuine emotions control you. Let your gratitude, compassion control. Let your heart.
And we must practice this every day.
Yes, every day, consciously. See,
it's like cleaning our villa. You got to clean your mind.
That's right. Even your laptop, at times, sometimes our gadget doesn't work. We say too much of memory. They say remove all these unnecessary junk. You remove
Cache. Clear your cache.
Clear cache. Then you can fill it up in better way. See, it is same thing. Mind space. Clear your mind space of anything and everything which doesn't serve your purpose. Clear the mind space. If there is anything which is not right, which is derogatory, let it exist outside your mind space. Don't allow that extreme importance to such that those things, and allow them to infiltrate your peace. Who's at fault? I am suffering because of and then blame others. So, like Lord Buddha's thing, it's their privilege to give and my privilege to accept, to take. I'm not going to take. If I take, I say it's a bouquet of flowers.
Yeah.
I come from Dubai. There's a miracle garden in a desert. I can. See, my mind space is a bouquet of flowers. Anyone who comes, that's why we say, A good person, they say, has a nice fragrance about them. I'm not talking about the perfume here.
Yeah.
You say there's some aura. Then the nice thing about them. It is.
You can feel
You
it.
can. That's why. No, I have a conscious thought. Anyone whom we meet, they should feel nice about us. Either there was a profound thought, a nice laughter, or we provoke their thinking in some
Yeah.
way. It is. That's the genuinely. I mean, I try to be that way. At time, most of the time we succeed. At times we may not, but that's the reason we are doing the podcast, whereby if we are able to do that, if we can provoke the thinking of an entrepreneur, of a student, of a research analyst in the right way, we have done our
Brilliant.
part.
It'll change their life.
And they in turn living their life will change others.
Yeah. These subtle things have such a huge impact.
Words of Swami Vivekananda: conquer your mind, you will conquer the world. Fall a prey to your mind, you become a victim of the world. If a person is making themselves or consider themselves a victim, you made yourself a victim of the world. Why should a Patek Philippe watch control you? Time should control you, not
Yeah.
a path. I'm just saying, I don't have a Patek Philippe watch. Nothing wrong. There are watch characters different. Allow yourself to be controlled. In simple terms, I see there's progressive. See, there's smile, there's laughter, there's contentment in you. I want only that to grow. I mean, nothing else but
thank
that
you.
to grow. Along with that, material, success. Your contentment level must be 2 notches above your material success. Then your success is a blessing for you and others. That's the reason. That's our intention. Our institution, Mind and Intellect, is focused on grooming great leaders, where this aspect, this when I say success, they hit their potential in their material pursuit, and in their self development, self evolution, they hit their pinnacle. Contentment, their peace and happiness cannot be hijacked by a position, a possession, or a person. They're absolutely in their control. The words of author Schopenhauer, he says, it's difficult to find happiness within oneself. It's difficult to find happiness within oneself, but impossible to find it anywhere else.
That's the only place.
That's the only place. So wonderful. I'm glad we had this.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gina.
Thank you for this opportunity.
Yes, I enjoyed doing it, because always enjoy all this while we had conversation only between you and me. Then I said, let others also get benefited.
I hope it can benefit people.
And it's the beginning of many other nice conversations with you. Thank you, Vamsi Garu, for this
Thank you.
opportunity. And I'm sure this will definitely help the serious guys.
No,
Thank
you
you.
very much. Thank you.